Once upon a time, in the ancient and contested land of Palestine and Israel, there existed a small village named Al-Amal, which means hope in Arabic. This village was home to both Palestinians and Israelis who, against the backdrop of a seemingly unending conflict, sought a different path towards understanding and coexistence. In Al-Amal, there was an old olive tree that stood at the heart of the village. This tree was said to be as old as the conflict itself, witnessing the joys and sorrows of generations caught in the crossfire. The elders of Al-Amal, tired of the perpetual cycle of violence, decided to initiate a unique experiment. They called upon the young people of the village, both Palestinian and Israeli, and proposed a project that would involve working together to care for the ancient olive tree. The hope was that by nurturing a shared symbol of life, they could transcend the animosities that had plagued their communities for decades. At first, skepticism and distrust loomed over the project. However, as the young villagers began working side by side, tending to the tree, something remarkable happened. Conversations started to flow, stories were shared, and friendships blossomed. The olive tree, once a silent witness to conflict, became a living testament to the possibility of unity. The news of the project spread beyond Al-Amal, attracting the attention of peace activists, journalists, and even diplomats. The olive tree of Al-Amal became a symbol of hope for the entire region, inspiring other communities to seek common ground amidst the turmoil. As the years passed, the once divided village of Al-Amal transformed into a beacon of coexistence. The olive tree not only bore fruits, but also bore witness to weddings, celebrations, and the birth of a new generation that knew a life different from the one their parents had endured. The success of Al-Amal's experiment did not go unnoticed by the international community. Diplomats and leaders took note, realizing that perhaps the key to resolving the larger conflict lay in the grassroots initiatives of ordinary people who chose understanding over enmity. The tale of Al-Amal spread far and wide, and the olive tree that had once stood as a silent witness to strife now stood as a living testament to the power of hope, dialogue, and shared humanity. And so, in the midst of a region often defined by conflict, the people of Al-Amal proved that even the most deeply rooted conflicts could be transformed by the seeds of peace. Amidst the turmoil of World War I, the British Empire seized control of the region, which was then known as Palestine. The Balfour Declaration in 1917 expressed British support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, intensifying the already simmering tensions between the Palestinian Arabs and Jewish settlers. The decades that followed were marked by waves of migration, clashes, and competing nationalistic aspirations. The United Nations proposed a partition plan in 1947 to create separate Jewish and Arab states, but the plan was met with vehement opposition from the Arab world. In 1948, as the British Mandate came to an end, the State of Israel declared its independence, leading to a full-scale war between the newly formed Israel and its Arab neighbors. The conflict became deeply rooted in the historical narratives and collective identities of both Palestinians and Jews. For the Palestinians, it was a struggle for self-determination and the right to return to ancestral lands. For the Jewish population, it was a quest for a homeland promised by ancient scriptures and, in their eyes, justified by centuries of persecution. The years that followed saw a series of wars, intifadas, and diplomatic efforts, each leaving its mark on the land and its people. The contested territories of the West Bank and Gaza Strip became focal points of contention, with borders shifting and populations displaced. The conflict became a complex web of historical grievances, political aspirations, and competing visions of identity. International efforts to broker peace, from the Oslo Accords to the Camp David summit, brought moments of hope but also disappointment. The cycle of violence persisted, fueled by a lack of trust and unresolved core issues. The construction of settlements in the West Bank, the status of Jerusalem, and the right of return for Palestinian refugees remained contentious points of disagreement. As the years turned into decades, a new generation of Palestinians and Jews emerged, inheritors of a conflict deeply embedded in their cultural and familial narratives. Amidst the challenges, there were also instances of shared humanity and common struggles. Joint initiatives for peace, grassroots movements, and cultural exchanges sought to bridge the gap between the two communities. The international community continued to grapple with finding a just and lasting solution. Diplomats, leaders, and activists from around the world engaged in shuttle diplomacy, peace conferences, and dialogue sessions, all in pursuit of a resolution that would bring an end to the suffering and pave the way for coexistence. In the midst of this turbulent history, there were stories of individuals who defied the prevailing narratives. Peace builders on both sides worked tirelessly to create connections and understanding, emphasizing the shared humanity that transcended political and religious differences. The conflict, with its complex layers and multifaceted dimensions, remained an indelible part of the region's story. The tale of Palestinians and Jews unfolded like a tragic epic, a story of a land torn between ancient histories and contemporary aspirations, where the echoes of the past resonate.
The land of Palestine, a region steeped in rich history and cultural diversity,